Join me as I share with you some of the secrets behind drawing successful forearms. This video actually comes from the Force Anatomy course on drawingforce.com, which actually came from the Force Anatomy book. Let's head over to the video.
This drawing is from the anatomy book, and it was my way of trying to simplify down the anatomy. There's a lot of different stuff we can talk about here, actually. Here, let me put an overlay on top of this, and then let's break down its value. Okay. So the first thing, I get asked a lot, how do you simplify anatomy? How do you simplify clothes? People are always trying to figure out how do you simplify. The key to simplification is or editing is to first of all know everything, or as much as possible. So my point to that is know all the true anatomy that's going on here in the first place, right? And then you start to break it down into its simplicity. There's a few things I want to call out here. Number one, this is actually a really important moment, this line here. Right. And the reason is, as you may recall from a prior video on the arm, this is the center line, right, that the bicep right here is going to sit in, right? If we were to rotate this arm this way, then the arm would open up, right? It would look something more like this. The bicep would be here. We would have this center, right? And the forearm would be like this, and the hand would be facing us, right? Get just that in there, and here's the fingers, and here's the thumb. Okay. So it would look like this, right? And there's that center, right? So that edge represents this center line, right? Except now we've rotated, right? Now we've come this way to get to our drawing, right? So be aware of that edge is all I'm bringing up here. Now, although we have all this musculature here, notice I've broken it down into zones, right? So zone number 2, right? Zone number 2 is a combination of these two muscles, right? Now, the reason I've broken them down into really one is it's pretty rare to see the separation between these two. Someone would have to work out a lot and be super ripped for you to notice that. Typically what you're going to see is this right here, this edge, right? And this is the forearm. Everyone thinks, oh, there's this forearm muscle, right? Because they think of it as one, although there's two in there. But all I'm saying is what you should be aware of is at least this one shape, right? Okay. The other one is right here, right? This is the other one that you'll see typically start to bulge out of someone's forearm. It's got some roundness to it right here, and you'll see it come out from underneath, right? If we want to go back to naming, let's move these two over. And if we go back to our other chart, this and this, you can see what I'm putting together is the extensor, the brachioradialis, right? And the extensor carpi radialis longus, right? So those two muscles are like that thick chunk of muscle that you'll see on the forearm. And then the extensor brevis, right? This one right here, the brevis, and then the abductor, and the other abductor, right? You have longus and brevis as the two abductors. Those three are my other bucket, right? That's bucket number 3 over here. These guys really line up very tightly to the bone, right? This is the radialis bone of the arm. So I don't really make a big deal out of these guys, okay? I stay aware of, again, the brachioradialis and the extensor carpi radialis longus, and then the extensor digitorum is really like is the second, I should say, pronounced muscle or bump right on the arm. Again, these two are number 1. These are really important. Notice that they connect between the tricep and the brachialis. Right, so the brachialis to me is just like this line that helps me split the side surface of the arm. It comes right out of the deltoid. It's its own muscle, but it comes right out of the tip, comes down pretty much the center of the arm. And then you want the brachioradialis and the extensor carpi radialis longus to come out from behind, right behind it. So it comes out in between the tricep and the brachialis muscle, right? The one that gives us the center line, right? So notice it comes out in between those two, comes up from behind the middle, and then it's going to wrap around and then underneath the far edge of the radialis bone, right on the other side of the thumb, okay? So to get back to this, Stay aware of this big chunk of muscle, right, which is these two. And then be aware of the extensor digitorum. That is the really main, long, sinewy muscle that runs down this side of the forearm. We'll probably talk a little bit more about it next week as well, but we're already here right in this side view. So that's how, I break that down. That's the way that I'm thinking about the arm. And while we're in the side view, again, here, if I can just draw it here. If I were to create surfaces out of this, it would be something like, I'll grab a dark blue here. It'd be something like this, right? This is the side view of the arm right here. Okay. So, what I want is, as you can see, here's the brachialis, right? That is going to help me create the center of the side of the arm. And the deltoid is going to come down to a point down into that muscle. And then the bicep, if I were to create a box out of this, the bicep is here. So the bicep's on the bottom in this case. Then you got your side view, and then you would have your top view, which is down there, which we can't see, right? And then, or back, let's call this back. And this is your top, which is the deltoid. That's the top of the deltoid there. So, that's how I'm able to weave my way through all of this anatomy. I try to simplify it down to these main zones. Number one is just all of these longer muscles on the other side, which we'll be talking about in upcoming videos. But for this one, be aware of the grouping of muscles in the lower forearm, especially this section, these two muscles coming together, and then these three, A, B, and C, coming together. And then the extensor digitorum. It's called digitorum, right, for the digits, because you can see how it splits up and pretty much runs into almost every one of the fingers except for the thumb. It controls a lot of the digits as well. So be aware of that muscle. And then last but not least, again, just to repeat myself here, the upper arm in the side view, remember the brachialis, and keep in mind that these guys down in the forearm, these two muscles, right, are going to come up in between the tricep and the brachialis. So if you're looking at the arm from the front view, remember you've got to tuck the forearm muscles back behind the brachialis, right? So just remember the order of events there. You think bicep, brachialis, forearm, tricep, BBFT. BBFT, right?
If you're enjoying this video, then come visit drawingforce.com. There you can learn how to draw with force through either monthly memberships or one-on-one mentorships with one of the Force instructor team.